Chapter 1. The Littlest Dino's Adventure Begins. Once upon a time, in a lush prehistoric forest, there was a little dinosaur who lived in a cozy nest with his family. The little dino was small compared to the other dinosaurs in the forest, but he was full of curiosity and energy. One day, while playing near his nest, the little dino decided to go on an adventure. He wandered through the forest, taking in the sights and sounds around him. He saw tall trees, colorful flowers, and heard the chirping of birds. As he walked, he came across a small clearing, where he met his first animal friend, a friendly squirrel. The squirrel was busy gathering nuts for the winter, but when he saw the little dino, he smiled and said hello. The little dino was excited to meet a new friend, and the squirrel was happy to have someone to talk to. They chatted for a while, and the squirrel showed the little dino some of his favorite places in the forest. The little dino was fascinated by everything he saw, and he was thrilled to have a new friend to explore the forest with. He realized that there was so much to see and learn in the forest, and he couldn't wait to see what other adventures awaited him. With his new friend by his side, the little dino continued his adventure, excited for whatever came next. Chapter 2. A Race Through the Forest. The little dino and his new friend, the squirrel, had been exploring the forest for some time when they came across a group of animals gathered in a nearby clearing. There were rabbits, chipmunks, and even a baby bear, and they were all giggling and playing together. The little dino was intrigued and wanted to join in the fun. He asked the squirrel if they could go play with the other animals, and the squirrel agreed. The little dino was excited to make even more new friends. As they got closer, the little dino noticed that the animals were getting ready for a race. The baby bear was the referee, and he explained the rules to the little dino and the squirrel. The race would take place in the forest, and the first one to cross the finish line would be declared the winner. The little dino and the squirrel were excited to participate. They lined up with the other animals, and the baby bear signaled the start of the race. The little dino was small, but he was quick and nimble. He ran as fast as he could through the forest, dodging trees and leaping over rocks. He could hear the other animals running behind him, but he was determined to win. As the finish line came into view, the little dino could see that he was neck and neck with the rabbit. He dug deep and ran even faster, crossing the finish line just ahead of the rabbit. The other animals cheered and congratulated him on his victory. The little dino was thrilled to have won the race, but he was even happier to have made new friends. He realized that it didn't matter how big or small he was. What mattered was that he had fun and made new friends along the way. With a smile on his face, the little dino looked forward to more adventures with his new friends in the forest. Chapter 3. Hide and Seek. After the race, the little dino and his animal friends decided to play a game of hide and seek. The little dino was excited to play and eagerly volunteered to be it. The other animals scattered, hiding behind trees and rocks, and the little dino set out to find them. The little dino searched high and low, using his sharp senses to sniff out his friends. He found the rabbit behind a tree, the chipmunk under a rock, and even the baby bear hiding in a bush. Everyone had a great time playing the game, and they all laughed and joked as they took turns being it. The little dino was happy to have so many new friends to play with and grateful for the fun they were having together. As the day started to come to a close, the little dino and his animal friends gathered in the clearing to say goodbye. They had all enjoyed their time together, but it was getting late, and it was time to head home. The little dino said goodbye to each of his new friends, promising to meet up with them again soon. He was sad to see them go, but excited to have had such a great day. As he made his way back to his nest, the little dino realized how much fun it was to make new friends and play games with them. He couldn't wait to have more adventures in the forest and make even more friends along the way. Chapter 4. A Scary Cave. The little dino had been exploring the forest with his friends for a while, and he felt like he had seen everything there was to see. But one day, the squirrel told him about a cave deep in the forest that nobody had ever explored. The little dino was both excited and nervous at the same time. He had never been inside a cave before, and the thought of it was a bit scary. But he was determined to overcome his fear and explore the cave with his friends. As they made their way through the forest, the little dino and his friends came across the entrance to the cave. It was dark and foreboding, but the little dino knew he had to be brave. Together, they cautiously stepped inside, using the dim light to guide them. They heard strange noises echoing through the cave, and the little dino's heart began to race. As they went further inside, they saw something move in the shadows. The little dino's friends started to panic, but he urged them to stay calm. They slowly approached the source of the movement and discovered that it was just a family of bats hanging from the ceiling. With a sigh of relief, the little dino and his friends continued exploring the cave. They saw stalactites and stalagmites, underground streams, and even some shiny rocks. The little dino was amazed by the beauty of the cave and the wonders it held. As they made their way back out of the cave, the little dino realized that he had overcome his fear. He was proud of himself for being brave and exploring the cave with his friends. From that day on, the little dino knew that there were still many more adventures to be had in the forest, and he looked forward to exploring them all with his new friends by his side. Chapter 5. A Waterfall Adventure. One hot day, the little dino and his friends decided to go on an adventure to find the source of a nearby waterfall. They wanted to cool off and explore the area around it. As they made their way through the forest, the little dino could hear the sound of rushing water growing louder and louder. Finally, they arrived at the waterfall, and the little dino was amazed at its size and beauty. They swam and played in the cool water, and the little dino even found a small pool where he could splash around safely. As they were playing, they noticed that there was a cave behind the waterfall, and they wondered what was inside. The little dino and his friends swam closer to the waterfall and found a small opening in the rocks. They carefully swam through it, and they discovered a secret underground lake behind the waterfall. The lake was filled with sparkling water and surrounded by beautiful rock formations. As they explored the underground lake, the little dino and his friends saw a family of fish swimming by. They also saw some glowing mushrooms growing on the walls of the cave, which illuminated the entire space. They spent the whole day exploring the underground lake and playing in the waterfall. It was an unforgettable adventure that the little dino and his friends would always remember. As the sun began to set, they knew it was time to leave. The little dino and his friends said goodbye to the waterfall and promised to come back soon. They made their way back home, feeling tired but happy after a day full of adventure and fun. Chapter 6. The Littlest Dino's Birthday Surprise. It was the littlest dino's birthday, and he was excited to spend it with his friends in the forest. But he had no idea that his friends had a surprise in store for him. As they were playing, the littlest dino suddenly heard a loud noise coming from the bushes. He cautiously approached the bushes and was surprised to see his friends waiting for him with a birthday cake. The littlest dino was thrilled and touched by his friends' thoughtful surprise. They sang happy birthday and enjoyed the cake together, surrounded by the beauty of the forest. But the surprises didn't end there. The littlest dino's friends had also prepared a scavenger hunt for him. They had hidden clues all around the forest, leading to a special birthday surprise. The littlest dino and his friends worked together to solve the clues, exploring different parts of the forest along the way. They found a treasure chest filled with special presents for the littlest dino, including a new toy and a handmade card. The littlest dino was overjoyed with his presents and grateful for his friends' efforts to make his birthday special. They spent the rest of the day playing and having fun in the forest, enjoying each other's company. As the day came to a close, the littlest dino reflected on how lucky he was to have such wonderful friends. He felt loved and appreciated, and he knew that he would never forget this special birthday surprise. From that day on, the littlest dino made sure to always appreciate his friends and show them how much he cared for them. He knew that they were his greatest treasures in the forest and that their friendship was something to be cherished. Chapter 7. Saying Goodbye. It was a sad day in the forest as the littlest dino and his friends had to say goodbye. One of his friends was moving to a different part of the forest, and they didn't know when they would see each other again. The littlest dino was heartbroken. He had formed a special bond with his friend, and the thought of not seeing them again made him feel lonely. To make the most of their last day together, the littlest dino and his friends decided to have a picnic and play some of their favorite games. They reminisced about all the fun adventures they had shared in the forest, and they made plans to keep in touch. As the sun began to set, It was time to say goodbye. The littlest dino and his friend hugged each other tightly, tears streaming down their faces. But just as they were about to part ways, the littlest dino had an idea. He suggested that they make a special memory to remember their friendship by. The littlest dino led his friend to a nearby clearing in the forest. There, they each picked out a small rock and painted it with their favorite colors and designs. They then placed the rocks side by side in the clearing, symbolizing their friendship and the memories they had shared. The littlest dino and his friend hugged each other once more, and they promised to never forget the memories they had made together in the forest. They knew that even though they were far apart, they would always hold a special place in each other's hearts. As the littlest dino watched his friend walk away, he felt a mix of sadness and gratitude. He realized that even though goodbyes can be hard, the memories and friendships made in the forest would always be a source of comfort and joy. Epilogue: The Littlest Dino's Reflections. As the days passed by, the littlest dino often thought about all the adventures he had shared with his friends in the forest. He felt grateful for their friendship and for the memories they had made together. He also realized that even though his friends had moved away, he had made new friends in the forest. He enjoyed exploring new parts of the forest and meeting new creatures. As the littlest dino grew older, he became wiser and more appreciative of the beauty and diversity of the forest. He learned to appreciate the simple pleasures of life, such as the warmth of the sun on his back and the sound of the birds singing in the trees. The littlest dino knew that he would never forget his adventures in the forest and the friends he had made along the way. He knew that even though life can bring unexpected changes, the memories and friendships made in the forest would always remain a source of comfort and joy. And so, the littlest dino continued to explore the forest with a sense of wonder and gratitude, cherishing each moment and each friendship he made along the way.